Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master AD&D Universe Podcast. I am your host, Vince. Hopefully you're doing well out there. Today is another day. We're going to talk about Advanced Dungeons & Dragons today. First, theevildm.com is my website. Ask the DM at theevildm.com is my email address. You can support me by going to patreon.com/theevildm, where the last couple of days we've had some really good articles up. I've been writing up some write-ups for we're currently playing basic fantasy right now, but I threw up the idea of the Wraith Apocalypse that I talked about. That idea is up there. Coming out today is Hirelings and Care Rules for basic fantasy and OSR, and then tomorrow we're going to be doing Diseases and basic fantasy and OSR as various goodies for those with the $2 level and higher. Anyway, on to today's topic. I was looking through the book and what things to look at today. And today, the command words for magical items came to mind. Now, it's not something that I normally remember, to be honest. And I thought it was an idea that I need to start doing again. Like, I think I've gotten into a pattern of people find magical items and it just kind of works. Whether it's a wand or a rod or whatever, a staff, it just kind of works. I forgot about the whole command word thing and how that actually works. I mean, it's a simple system, but I just kind of blew it by. Maybe because I'm so used to playing other editions of fantasy that I never thought about the whole command words. Because later editions of D&D, they kind of ditched it for attunement, which I've always thought was lame and didn't actually, didn't feel like fantasy to me. Sit there and meditate over the item and you get to be able to use it because you attune to it, its flavor and whatever, its harmony. I just thought that was dumb. I like the idea of the rod, staff, or wand. You have to know the proper command word. So in order to use a rod, staff, wand, and you're going to want to go to the DMG on page, my PDF, okay, 119. It's right there under use of magic items. It is usually necessary to know the proper command word. There are several possible ways to acquire this knowledge with if the item was in the possession of an opponent, it may be possible to learn the appropriate word or phrase directly by either noting what he or she says when using the item or by causing the possessor to divulge the information through force or trickery. It is common for spell users to keep such information recorded among their hidden scrolls and spellbooks in case their memory should somehow become impaired or simply prove insufficient, and the words be forgotten. Pretty simple. If none of these sources should fit the situation and the item was not found with the accompanying scroll explaining its use in history, it may be necessary to resort to informational spells such as Contact Other Plane, Legend Lore, or Speak with Dead. So, when you do this, what you could do for different ways, many magical items have these words involved with it. And while sometimes I know in the past some DMs have had it where it's written directly on the item, like if it's a wand or something, the name would be some type of name or word is written on it, and that usually is the trigger word. And that was kind of a cheap, easy way to move forward with the story and not have to worry about the magical item. I personally never liked that. I mean, as a player, of course, I loved it. But as a DM point of view, I never liked that. I thought that was just kind of cheap and easy to blow by. I mean, these magical items, especially if it's going to be like a wand, a fireball, or something, or whatever, frost, something that's really cool, you don't want them to just easily have the ability to know that word. And also, another thing is they don't know charges. They're never going to know charges. Even with an identifier, they're never going to know exactly all the charges. I've never given the amount of charges. I've given an estimate of charges. So some ways a DM can actually give their players the ability to get this magical word or command word to say is maybe you pepper it throughout the dungeon somehow. They find an old journal with some words in it, or they find a piece of paper with just one word in it. They don't know what it is. Maybe they keep it, maybe they throw it out. Who knows? I know if you are in a campaign, and I know if I'm playing, first of all, and a DM says, "Yeah, you're looking around and you search, search a desk and you find some scrolls, and there's some, is a journal about this guy talking about his life, and then you find a piece of paper that says booga booga." I personally myself would write that down and say my character takes that. Why? Because who knows what that word booga booga actually means and what it is. And if it comes later on to the game, I'm not going to remember it. And especially if you're playing, once a month or every other week or whatever time frame your group plays, you're not going to remember Booga Booga. Yeah, I mean, you might remember it if you have a really good memory, but your character is not going to remember it too, because your character is pretty much you. So you write it down, you keep it, and you never know in your notes. That's why it's always important to keep notes when you're a player. Yeah, sure, it's fun to sit there, and play the game and just be like, man, I like playing the game, but it's always good to keep little notes. And this is one of the situations you want to keep notes. Now, you want to do, other ways like I had suggested, speak with the dead owner, research. What I used to do with research when I remembered to use this was that I would give a magic user a chance to go into a library and do some magical research in a magical library. And if they had some notes from the previous owner, I would have them each day roll a 1d6. And I would have kind of like a pie chart. And I have four little sections of the pie that I would check off. And each day that they would roll the 1d6, if they rolled a 1, I would check off a little piece of the pie. Now, it doesn't mean they have to roll a 1 every day, because every time they get a check mark, it becomes slightly easier with research, especially if you have notes, to figure out what this command word is. So the next day, they would have to get a 1 and a 2, then a 3 and a 4, and then a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the final day to finally get that. So there's still a chance of them doing research and coming up with nothing, but their chances of finding out what the word is or name is becomes greater the days they spend in there. Now, it's not one of those things that you say, as far as, oh, my guy goes and researches, let's do all the rolls now. No, it doesn't work that way. In game, your character will go to the library or whatever while the rest of the group does their thing. And yes, if the day wants to end quickly because all the players agree with the DM, then yes. But chances are their DM might have a little surprise to interrupt your quick day. So now there was another thing that some people had talked about, and I was looking around for this too, is each time that you use the wand, and I've done this before, it does use a waste a charge, but there's a certain chance, again, a 1 in a 6, that it will waste a charge every time you do it on called a misfire. The wand is listening for the key word, and if you're trying to use it while pointing it, or the staff or the wand or rod, whatever, that's going to be a 1 in 6 chance that it's going to fizzle. It's going to listen for the word, use up a charge. Is that fair? Probably. I don't know. Really depends on how you want to handle it. So you tell me in the comments how you would handle that. I know one time a player grabbed a wand from a defeated magic user, and he wanted to spam nonsense words for 10 minutes until it fired. Now, what we did was, I was just like, all right, you can do that, but I said up front, you know how it works here. We may waste a charge and everything. And he argued it should not cost charges until he was right. I ruled that, every attempt is going to be a 1d6 roll. And I'll let you roll it as the player. And if you roll that 1, that means a charge is wasted. And he did not care that he wanted to do that. So he also said that he wasn't going to, as far as the player is concerned, just start spouting out words. He wanted his character to do random words. So I said, all right, well, the chances of you actually getting that is a very slim chance. I gave him a chance. I told him to roll 100%, roll percentile, And if you get either a 1 or a 100, I'll let him pick which one he wants. You can't have both. You guess the word in the 10-minute time frame that your character spends on the word. He rolled and he wanted 100. I said, fine. And he got the 100. And I said, you know what? Deal's a deal. I told him the word and he knew the word because that's when it triggered the actual wand. And it was a wand of fireballs. And what it did was blast the wall and start burning up the wall. But he knew the word. So kind of an interesting situation that happens, you know. So different ways you could probably use this in your adventures. You could pepper the word around for players to find out what it is. Like I said, you find it in the desk drawers, a note or something weird like that. Or, you know, maybe you put little phrases in the dungeon on the walls somewhere. Like as if someone is trying to figure something out, like a formula on the wall. Like, you know, sometimes when you're figuring out formulas in physics or something, you would actually write on a whiteboard. We'll say the cave wall or the dungeon wall is now a whiteboard, and there's someone trying to frantically figure out something, and you get little pieces of words, and then maybe later on in the dungeon you see another wall with crazy writing on it with different words and everything, with some of the words you remember from the last one, if you had written something down. And you can have little things peppered throughout the dungeon that way. I thought that was always interesting. You could do the old traditional, you find it on a pedestal and then there's 3 syllables written around it. Now, your job as the player is to figure out how those syllables work and what order the syllables are in and what word it makes to trigger the rod to work. Different ways you can use it. Tell me what you think in the comments, how you'd handle it, and how you want to do that with your campaign. I'm always interested to hear what other DMs do. No matter what the edition is, I don't really care. If you do this in later editions, keeping tradition alive, I'd love to hear all about it. Even if it's in 5th edition, I don't care, and you're a 5th edition player, I want to hear what you're doing with your campaign. If you're using this style in 5e, I want to know, because that'd be kind of cool. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's podcast. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening. Hopefully you continue to enjoy listening. If you do, why don't you head over to Spotify, give us a 5-star rating, or head over to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating, or your favorite podcasting platform. I don't know. So you got to be listening to this somewhere. Maybe you're listening to this on the website. I don't know. If you're listening to this on YouTube, just hit like and subscribe to the channel. Share the video out. Share anything out. Head to patreon.com/theevildm and get all your write-ups and all the things you want to get. YouTube.com/theevildm. Rumble.com/theevildm as well. Hopefully you have a great day. Keep original, keep it old school. Good night, and God bless everyone.